Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tony from her Homestead Skills. And yes, we are home from our road trip, holiday, I guess, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it was the best time to go on that road trip, but Mark really wanted to go, so I didn't say no. And I can't say that it wasn't fun. It was good to get away. It's been way too long since we've been able to do anything like that. Certainly we could take trips through Ontario, and we had done so, but that's usually like a one-day trip or maybe an overnight trip, but never quite as interesting as going to a different country and seeing sights that you wouldn't see otherwise, and seeing old friends that you haven't seen in 6 years. And it could be another 6 years before we do this again, but hopefully not, but you never know which way the world is turning. Certainly is not appearing to be getting any better. Got back home and we hear interest rates are being raised again here, as well as in the US, so that does not bode well for many people. And many people that bought homes here will have difficulty when they have to renew their mortgages, and we don't have the typical 30-year mortgages that you do in the US. They're usually a 5-year term. So those that either have this 5-year term, you know, it's extended for 25, but it is every 5 years that it comes up, and it is adjusted. So anybody that is coming to the end of that 5-year term and will have to deal with these new rates are going to feel it in a big way. I expect a lot of difficulties for a lot of people. It isn't the first time I've seen this happen before. Have no idea how bad and how deep this one's going to be, but we are certainly in a recession. I don't care what they say. Everything is going through the roof. Prices are just ridiculous everywhere. Home prices in Ontario are beyond the reach of the ordinary person now. They were a struggle at one time, but now they're terribly beyond the reach of the ordinary, the average income. Just can't afford a home. So I don't know how that can get any better in any hurry. It'll probably take years to readjust. So with that in mind, I am continuing to harvest and process my garden as much as I can, and I definitely have another few loads of tomatoes. Some of my cabbages were gnawed on while I was away, so I don't know if the inner parts are going to be salvageable or if they're all waste, or maybe just one or two were badly damaged. I don't know. We'll have to see when I get to them. Decided not to bother with them until I had dealt with the ripest of my tomatoes, which would have gone to waste had I not dealt with them. So anyway, yes, I hear there's a tomato shortage. Not in this home, won't happen. So, and if next year I have to grow double the amount, well, then I'll do that as well. I did buy 2 bushels before I went away on my road trip, and I do that every year and then subsidize with what I have in my garden. So I think I'll be okay. I'm definitely going to be okay for this year. We just have to determine what we're going to do next year. Tomatoes are definitely a staple in this home because we make a lot of pasta. Used for chili, used for pizzas, used for, you know, many other dishes. So definitely a staple here. And I'm not buying it from the store. So anyway, I did put together another canning video. It's probably fairly redundant, but that's what I'm doing these days. I did process some of my potatoes that I peeled the other day. I put them through the dehydrator and made slices this time rather than chips. So I will do some slices that can be used for baked potatoes. What do you call them? Scalloped. That can be used for scalloped potatoes. So because we do eat that in the colder weather. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this little video, and there will be more. See you soon. Okay, well, I've got my first batch of tomatoes on the stove boiling. I guess I overfilled that pot, but that's fine. I'll be a little more cautious on the next load. I also have washed all the tomatoes, took out the ones that were too green to process, and we'll, just do those with the next batch. I'm sure there's going to be at least another 1 or 2 batches, and yeah, started this at approximately, it is now 7:45, and I probably started about 20 minutes ago. We will determine how long this will take. I expect to get about 30 jars in that range. We'll see what happens. Okay, so the first process is boiling them down until the skin splits, and this batch is almost ready to be removed, and then they are drained, and then I put them through my little machine to remove all the skins and the seeds, and then it turns it into a puree, and then we will can them up. Okay, skills. And today I am processing a whole bunch more tomatoes. I have them all boiled and drained at this point, and I've got my machine all set up and ready to go. So I will be loading this up momentarily, and then I will be turning my tomatoes into tomato puree, and then we will be canning them up. Okay. So if you've seen my other videos in the past, you will note that I have used a tomato squeezing machine that removes all the seeds and the peel, and I have both versions of this, both an electric one and a manual one, and I use my electric one when I'm doing 2 or more bushels at a time, or should I say 100 pounds or more at a time. This time I think I have 50 to 60 pounds perhaps. Probably I'll know better by the time I put them into jars. I'm expecting 30-ish jars, 32, 34, if I have 50 pounds, and if I have more, there'll be more than that. I have strained my tomatoes, and if I have not strained them enough, I will have a more liquidy puree, which is fine because mine is always way on the thick side anyway. So here I go. I will be starting to load the hopper and process these tomatoes. And I don't run the machine until I actually have tomatoes in them. Okay, hopper's full. And no flicking a switch here. Oh, forgot something, and that is something to catch the waste product. I'll just have to use a dish here. Okay. So what happens is that the tomatoes get squished, and let's see if I can lower this so you can see it better. I have a bucket all set up for them to, you can see that in the bucket, for them to drain into the bucket, and the seeds and the peel will go into that compartment. Now, I'm still a skinny little thing, and doing this manually is still a bit of work for me, but we should be able to get through it, no issues. And if the first bit seems watery, that's normal, it always is. Okay, I'm running through the last batch now, and I'm glad for it. The arm is a little tired, and even if I've been switching arms, I still prefer to use the manual machine for smaller amounts, and I consider this a smaller amount. It is less cleanup. So, okay, I'm going to start the fill-up process, and I'm going to just pour approximately half a cup of lemon juice in my bucket and then just stir my bucket so that I'm not going to have to do them all individually. Okay. All right. Now I have 18 jars prepared here to fill up because I only have 2 canners, and I'm going to water bath can, not pressure can, so that I can only put a layer of like 9 each in each canner. So that gives me 18 at best. So I'm going to fill up 18 first to start off with and get the canners going, and then see where we stand from there. About ½ inch headspace is adequate, and I tend to adjust headspace when I'm done filling, just because I'm filling so many all at once. Now I have no idea how many this will make, because these were from my own garden, and I may only get the 18. We'll have to see. Whatever amount I get, I still have, this much again, probably twice this much again to take from the garden. There's still many green ones as well. So it's just an ongoing process this time of year. And I was a little afraid that I had not strained them enough, but it looks fine. Now, it doesn't hurt to have watery tomatoes. It also doesn't hurt anything if you have, should I say, liquid that separates. It hurts nothing. Shake it up and or boil it down when you're actually cooking with it. That one's a little overfull. Okay, so I think I have less separation than some people just because I make mine so thick. But as I said, I have the occasional separation as well. So. And to make my life simple, it looks like I'm only going to get 18, which I have no issue with whatsoever. I've got more. Okay, I've got my vinegar here, and I've got my lids in another container, just soaking in water. They do not have to be boiled, but it is hot water. Someone once suggested, did I debubble my tomatoes? Well, tomato puree is a little hard to debubble, but I guess you can kind of stir it up, perhaps get something out. I don't know. Never debubbled it in the past, but I suppose it is possible to remove some of the air. So I'm going to do that now before I clean the edge. just in case there is some air that we can release. There might be some trapped air, but it's kind of hard to get it out of a puree. Okay, now to clean all my edges one by one and to make sure I don't miss any, I'm just going to pull them off to the side once it's done. And you want to clean the rims just to make sure that there is nothing to prevent the lid from sealing. And I just may do 9 at a time and put them in the canner. Okay, put my lids on. And 9. Okay, so at this point I'm going to just get some rings and put these in my canner. Finger tight is the name of the finger tight is all you want to do. You want to be able to allow the air to escape from the jar and seal. And I always double check to make sure that I don't have them too tight. Okay, 1, 2. And 5. Okay. Now I'm just going to... Okay, you also need your plate at the bottom of your canner. Now, if I was pressure canning, I would be able to fit all 18 of these in one, but since I'm not, because you have to cover the tops of the jar with at least 1 or 2 inches of water, I will be adding, about 3 inches extra just for safety measuring, because I have a large enough pot to do it in, so I'm not worried about the amount of water I have in this. But if I were to try to water back can all of these in this canner, I would not be able to cover them all with couple of inches of water, so I have to use 2 canners. Okay, first batch is in the canner, so let's do this second set again. Same process, wipe the rims. and I think I did leave some of the ones that had some spill till the last, so that I can clean that up last. Once again, finger tight. Now you may notice that some of my rings don't look new, and that's fine. I reuse rings over and over and over again and keep new ones aside for when I want to give somebody a gift of some canned goods. The rings can be used over and over, and I use them until they just don't come clean anymore. Okay, so that's my last 9 all ready to go into the canner. I may just wait until this canner is done and then put these in rather than pull out another canner and then have to put it away. I have, now that this process is on the go, I will be doing the cleanup job. Oh, and I'm going to put the vinegar into the canner, and the reason for putting the vinegar into the canner water is to prevent mineral buildup on the outside of your jars, so that they look as clean when they come out as they do now, rather than cloudy. Now, some people say they don't like to do that. They don't, their jars don't come out cloudy, so they don't bother. That's fine. It depends on the amount of minerals, I guess, in your water. And the other term I keep hearing is your kitchen, your rules. So whatever works for you. I find that I find that I do get the cloudiness if I don't add the vinegar in the water, so I do that. Okay, so this process is almost complete again. I just have to process these for 40 minutes, and either I'll pull out another canner or put these ones in for 40 minutes when those are done. But meanwhile, I've got to clean up this kitchen. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.